Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
Afriforum will rejoice. Malema has been found guilty, guys. Guilty as charged. What does this mean for the EFF? Because Floyd's gone. What's going to happen to the... Okay, wait, getting ahead of myself. Apparently, he could be in jail for 15 years. There'll obviously be more developments to the story, and I just know people are going to be... There's going to be some that's going to be very upset. There's some that's going to be very happy. But we need December to start, like next month already. We're calling it in early, bro. Between the commission, that Brad off the hotel, and now Julius. No, I'm done with this year. I'm done.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Uncle P with another episode of Uncle P's podcast. Yo, my friend, alright, there's drama. There is drama. But guys, listen, I like to look at things in both angles. And for the first time, I feel like the internet is divided in a way that doesn't need to be divided. So, this whole Julius Malema saga, it's got people calling the judge a racist, and then it's got other people saying, no, the judge is not a racist. So let's look at both angles first, okay? Let's look at both angles, and then let's discuss it, because I feel like this is extremely interesting, and it's for the first time. Let's just be honest with ourselves, okay? Are white people being white people, or is justice being served? So let's go to opinion number one, and this is going to shock you.
Julius Malema has just been found guilty of firing a rifle into the air at one of his political rallies. And that is pretty serious in itself, but I also want to point out the very hypocritical nature of this case. But before I do, let me say this. I think it's very negligent for any political leader to go onto any stage and fire a rifle where there is a crowd of people or an audience. But I also think it's important to hold people accountable where necessary. His bodyguard, who was acquitted, and Julius Malema actually pointed out this hypocrisy, he got nothing. He was acquitted based on nothing more than the color of his skin, because perhaps it was deemed not.
Okay, so you all know who Peter Kriel is. He's a big advocate for black people, black South Africans, yada yada yada. As much as I appreciate the white men out there fighting fights, yeah, bro. Okay, before I give my opinion, so according to him, the reason why the security guard was acquitted is because he's white.
Too bad. Let's look at this objectively and with context. Julius Malema went onto a stage and he fired a gun. His bodyguard was there and complicit. Ladies and gentlemen, when you go to a bank and you take your friend with you, and both of you take...
Okay, before he gives his scenario, his bodyguard was there and was complicit. That's what he says, okay? All right.
Part in robbing that bank. Even if you are not the one holding the gun, you are still complicit in bank robbery. You are still an accomplice. And therefore, I think this highlights a crack in racial disparity in this country. It shows that there's...
Okay, so this is opinion number one, and my take on what he's saying is extremely incorrect. First of all, this was not a bank robbery. Guys, let's stop comparing things that are not the same. This was not a bank robbery. Second of all, we know the powers that politicians hold. So let's not be naive and act like Julius Malema did not make the bodyguard give him the gun. That bodyguard could have said no, and Julius Malema could have insisted. You know, we know maybe he didn't have an opportunity to go against. Maybe he did tell him, Mr. Julius, I can't give you the gun. We don't know. But to create a notion that the reason why he was found not guilty or whatever is because he's white, that's a bit of a stretch. But there's a second opinion that is floating around. Let's listen to that.
I have carefully studied and replayed the judgment by Magistrate Toinette Olivier. And I am now satisfied that there is no racism. The learned magistrate considered the evidence that was placed before her, and I also now understand why she took 3 days. Apart from her being slow, she had to limit the chances of her potentially misdirecting herself away from the facts that were before her. Evidence was placed before Magistrate Olivier, and her conclusion was that that evidence was credible, it was reliable, and it was truthful. And among such evidence, it is the ballistic testimony. So let's meet at 7 p.m.
No need to meet at 7 p.m. So basically, on the internet, there's a lot of black people who are happy with the outcome, and people are like, how? Here there's a white person who's defending Julius, and then there's a black person who is saying the outcome is great. This is political suicide. They're after Julius Malema. They are after Julius Malema. And then the truth about the judge starts coming out.
One, people have to dig the background of the judge. I mean, we talk about Toinette Olivier. She's a former student from DF Malan War School in Pretoria. You check the history of that school and the students that are coming there, and you check her affiliation. She's a member of Solidarity. She's a member of Afriforum. Fortunately enough, we were able to get some information to some of the members of the Afriforum who were able to send them some of the most important information that she indeed a member of the Afriforum. And now she's an Afrikaner. Now we are sitting here at this point. You've got Afrikaners in South Africa who were mobilizing the US government to put sanctions in South Africa to make sure that they are frustrated.
So we all see where this is going, right? Are you guys telling me they did not know this prior to the sentencing? You see, the problem is Julius Malema, just like every other politician, they think they are above the law. Because they think they're above the law, they overlook certain things. Now they want to come back to us and drag all the Afrikaners. Did they not know that she was part of Afriforum beforehand? Prior. How long has this case been going on for? 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. Guys, the reality is this. The big issue that they have here is the following.
Yes, the charge for which he has been convicted requires a mandatory jail sentence. What?
The charge in which he has been convicted in requires a mandatory jail sentence. That is where the problem is. We are about to see him in an overall. That's why you see now he's singing this song. Every word.
Thank you, the ground forces of the EFF, for your support. We've been here for 7 years. We are almost at the end because today she passed her verdict finding us guilty, but she released accused number 2, which is highly appreciated, because we know that from the beginning they have been looking for me. They were not looking for accused number 2. They were just playing games, and today they came out openly. As a revolutionary, going to prison or death is a badge of honor.
Exactly that. No, Baba, you are going to jail because you were reckless. You grabbed a gun and shot it in the air. For what reason? Nobody knows. To prove what? To make what statement? After you are known for singing this.
Kichi, Kichi, Kichima, Cyprian Konto Alliance, shoot to kill, Yamaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa, Attention!
So you already know you're a target, and then you are just creating more things to make things worse for you. Now, guys, the reason why I don't believe this is a political target or anything, I would have believed that they're going after Julius Malema if Julius Malema was Operation Dudula. I would have believed that they're going after Julius Malema if Julius Malema was MK. Julius Malema EFF is already falling apart. There is no reason for anyone to go after Julius Malema anymore. He has no power anymore. He has no voice. The EFF is slowly dying on its own. So this is not a political witch hunt. So all these narratives that are coming now, all of a Sunday, did they not know who the judge was prior? They were fully aware. But because some people believe they are above the law, now they are being shooketh. But
it would be nobody knows. It will only be made known once the magistrate has had regard to the submission by the state, the submission by its counsel, as well as the pre-sentence reports that hopefully would have been sourced and obtained on that day. So we're still in it for a long haul.
so what people don't realize, there's a pre-sentence that Julius Malema's lawyers requested for. That basically means they want to already know where is the judge Belingo Bengota, her thoughts, her thinking going, so they can prepare. And the reality is Julius Malema is going to fight us. And because we know he's going to fight us, all this is going to do is take a couple of more years and more of the taxpayers' money. That's the reality. Julius Malema will not see jail. He will probably be under house arrest. He will probably has a suspended sentence, meaning if he does anything else of the same state of nature, yada 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 yada. Because the unnecessary commotion that the EFF followers might cause or may not cause may be something that the nation does not want. Do people want to see Julius Malema in jail? I don't know. I don't see Julius Malema going to jail what it does for anybody or anything. EFF is literally dying on its own. I actually think if you wanted to punish the EFF more, leave him. Let him continue doing what he's doing. I don't know. What do you guys think, man? I honestly think this is not a racial thing. I know how bosses are, how politicians are. They've got power. They tell you what to do. If they tell you to hand the gun, you hand the gun. In the end of the day, he is the boss. He's the politician. You know, he should have known better. And having to, you know, take the bodyguard and, you know, sentence him also because he was the... No, guys. Let the white man go home. Not everything is about racial. Leave the Afrikaners alone. We can't keep dragging... The problem you see, guys, I keep telling you guys, some people function on dividing South Africa. Dividing the white and the black is extremely important. Guys, we can't be divided on behalf of Julius Malema. He did this on his own. He had no business shooting that gun. Allot, continua. And I shall see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You're going